There is a small chapel in San Antonio, Texas. Not grand, not towering, not gilded with gold. In fact, at first glance it looks like a quiet ruin, worn by time and weather, but within its crumbling stone walls lies a roar, a fire, a defiance so fierce that it echoes through American history. This place is called the Alamo, and it is not just a battleground, it's a birthplace of legend. The Alamo was built around 1718 as a mission by Spanish settlers, designed to spread faith in a new world. But over the next century, that peaceful mission would become a fortress, and then a graveyard of heroes who decided that liberty was worth their lives. In 1836, a storm was brewing. Texas was fighting for its independence from Mexico, and the Alamo became a line in the sand. Literally, on one side, tyranny, on the other, freedom. A group of fewer than 200 brave souls stood behind those walls. They weren't professional soldiers. They were farmers, frontiersmen, teachers, and dreamers, united by one belief: they would rather die standing for freedom than live kneeling in fear. Among them were names that would be carved into history: James Bowie, a fierce fighter known for his grit; William B. Travis, just 26 years old, commanding with passion and penning a letter for help with words that still burn with fire today; and of course, Davy Crockett, the legendary frontiersman from Tennessee, who stood not for fame, but for honor. For 13 days in the spring of 1836, these men held the fort. Outnumbered nearly 10-1 by the Mexican army under General Santa Anna, they refused to surrender. They knew the odds. They knew death was coming, but they chose to fight anyway. Why? Because some things are bigger than survival. Because courage isn't measured by the chance of victory, but by the willingness to rise when fear says sit. On March 6th, the enemy broke through. The battle was brutal, hand to hand, unrelenting. The defenders were overwhelmed, and every single one of them died. But in their final stand, they planted something deeper than any flag. They planted a legacy. They died, but their story lived. The Alamo became a rallying cry. Just weeks later, the cry of "Remember the Alamo" echoed across battlefields. Inspired by the sacrifice of those who refused to run, General Sam Houston led the Texan army to victory at the Battle of San Jacinto, shouting that very phrase. Texas won its independence, not just with bullets, but with the memory of the men who stood at the Alamo and proved that death in dignity was better than life in chains. What makes the Alamo legendary is not just the defeat, it's what the defeat became. It became proof that courage doesn't always stop death, but it always inspires life. It showed that bravery isn't about being fearless, it's about standing your ground when fear is all around you. The Alamo doesn't tower like skyscrapers. It doesn't glitter like monuments of wealth. But it stands with something stronger than steel: conviction. Every great fight, personal or historical, comes down to one moment, one stand, one decision to draw your line, to say no further. I will not move. I will not break. That's what the Alamo teaches us. When life pushes you into a corner, when it feels like the world is against you, the odds are impossible and no one is coming to help, you have to choose: flee or fight. They chose honor over comfort, purpose over fear, legacy over life. And here's the truth: you are standing at your own Alamo every single day. Every time you face rejection, failure, betrayal, and pain, you're at the wall. And it's up to you to decide how your story will be remembered. Will you fold? Or will you fight with everything inside you, knowing that your courage will light the way for someone else? The men of the Alamo didn't live to see victory, but their spirit won the war. You may not see the results of your struggle right away. You may fall, you may lose, but if you fight with heart, if you hold your ground with truth, If you give your all with love and integrity, your stand will echo, because it's not about how long you live. It's about what you stand for while you're alive. The Alamo reminds us that real heroes aren't born. They are made in moments of desperation, forged in fire, and remembered not for their victories, but for their valor. So the next time you feel small, feel cornered, feel overwhelmed, remember this small mission in Texas. Remember what was given there. Remember the words that still shake the sky. Remember the Alamo. Not because it's history, but because it's a call to action, to stand, to fight, to rise, to be remembered.